Modern aviation safety hangs by an invisible thread of ones and zeros, computer systems that guide massive aircraft to safe landings thousands of times each day. But what happens when those systems start to fail?
You know what fascinates me about these aviation guidance systems? They're built like a ladder of trust, from fully automated to completely manual control. Let's break down how this actually works in practice.
Well, imagine you're piloting an Airbus A320, approaching an airport in bad weather. You've got 4 different guidance modes available, each with its own level of automation. The most sophisticated is called FLS. Think of it as having a virtual co-pilot helping you navigate.
The engineering behind that is remarkable. How exactly does the system know when to switch between these different modes?
That's where it gets really interesting. Pilots have what they call the 10-second rule. In just 10 seconds, they need to assess the situation and decide which mode to use. It's like having to choose between 4 different GPS systems in your car, but you're traveling at 150 miles per hour and lives depend on your choice.
Hmm, that's an incredibly short time to make such a crucial decision. I imagine there must be some very clear criteria they follow.
Exactly right. The system is designed like a descending staircase. You start with FLS, which creates virtual guidance beams in the sky. If that starts looking suspicious, you step down to final app mode. If that's not reliable, you move to nav with FPA, and if all else fails, you're down to track with FPA, basically flying with the most basic instruments.
So if we think about this in everyday terms, it's like having your smartphone navigation, then a paper map, then road signs, and finally just using landmarks. Each one more basic, but still effective.
That's exactly the kind of redundancy they've built into the system. And here's something fascinating. Even when using the most automated mode, pilots are required to constantly monitor the raw navigation data. It's like having a backup calculator while using a computer.
Well, that brings up an interesting question. How do pilots train for all these different scenarios? It must be incredibly complex.
You know, they spend countless hours in simulators practicing what they call edge cases, those situations where things start to go wrong. They have very specific parameters too. If you're more than 5 degrees off track or 3/10 of a mile off course, you don't try to force it. You go around and try again.
The precision of those numbers really shows how much thought has gone into this system. They're not just arbitrary limits.
Right, and here's what really blows my mind. They've managed to quantify exactly what makes an approach stable or unstable. There's no gray area, no judgment calls needed. If you exceed those limits, you abort the approach, no questions asked.
That kind of clarity in decision-making must be incredibly valuable when you're under pressure in challenging conditions.
Let me tell you about something they call rookie gotchas. These are the common mistakes new pilots make. One of the biggest is waiting too long to make corrections. Instead of making small adjustments early, they wait until they need big corrections, which can destabilize the whole approach.
That principle could apply to so many areas of life. The idea that small, early corrections are better than large, late ones.
Absolutely fascinating point. And you know what's really clever about this whole system? It's designed to fail gracefully. Instead of sudden catastrophic failures, you get a gradual degradation of capability, stepping down through increasingly basic modes.
The engineering philosophy behind that approach is brilliant. It's about maintaining control even as systems fail.
And here's something that really shows the sophistication. Each mode has its own specific use case, but they're all designed to work together seamlessly. It's like having multiple backup plans, each one ready to take over at a moment's notice.
That level of redundancy must provide incredible peace of mind for both pilots and passengers.
Well, what's particularly interesting is how they've balanced automation with human skill. This isn't about replacing pilot expertise, it's about enhancing it. Even with all this technology, the fundamental skills of flying are still absolutely crucial.
That balance between human expertise and technological assistance seems to be the key to modern aviation safety.
Looking toward the future, these systems will likely become even more sophisticated. But what's remarkable is how they've maintained that core principle: always have a backup plan for your backup plan. It's a philosophy that's kept aviation one of the safest forms of travel in history.
And it's amazing how these principles could inform other fields where safety and reliability are crucial. from medical systems to nuclear power plants.
You know, at the end of the day, what we're really talking about is a beautiful marriage of human judgment and technological innovation. It's not about replacing one with the other, it's about finding the perfect balance between both.